Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is SEL0320. I'm back at it again for a brand new TV review. I just got done doing the TV review for the last episode of Gotham, episode 3. That one was Balloon Man. The name of this one is, believe it or not, Arkham. So Arkham, anybody knows Arkham Asylum is where all the inmates are. Like Penguin, Riddler, Joker, Harley Quinn. That is the center core about this, but the way that Arkham is basically presented in this one starts from the very beginning. The beginning episode, coming from off the last episode, we had Penguin that showed back up into Gotham, and so because he came back into Gotham, he showed up at Jim Gordon's front door, and Barbara didn't know who he was, and that starts it up. But he tells Gordon that there's a war coming, and it's all centered around the development and the building of Gotham. And Gordon doesn't understand, why is this man trying to help me? And it's pretty interesting just watching the whole thing come to fruition. One of the key points about this one is that you see the dynamics between Gordon and Penguin. Penguin feels like his life is indebted to Gordon, but at the same time he's using him as kind of like a scapegoat to do something general. But as you can see, like everything in this one, like Penguin is just doing things under the cuff. Like he rises up, he's literally weaseling his way up to the very top. And it's very interesting dynamic to see him getting in with the mob boss Don Maroney, and like how Don Maroney is kind of like seeing him as kind of like a little son figure. And it's just like, you have to think about the fact that how did he end up with Fish Mooney to start with? He's already got some stuff internally that you can see this devious nature about him. One of the things about this episode though is an assassin. He carries around this double jointed figure where it's like turn it this way and its spike comes out. First part of the episode, he kills off 2 people with it straight through the eye, straight through the eye socket, straight to the brain, instant kill. He does that with a couple people, then burns somebody alive. This episode has a lot of gore and a lot of blood. Like there's a lot of things that goes down. I mean, I saw that happen. I saw somebody get burned alive. I saw 2 girls beat each other almost to death. There's a lot of risky stuff that's going on. It was even the gun shootout, which in most episodes it is. Gotham's just a dangerous place in general. One of the things I guess I'll touch on is that Fish Mooney is trying to find a weapon in a young lady. Well, she's trying to find it between 2 different people, and I'm not sure what the reasoning is, but I'm pretty sure it all focuses on Falcone, and she's trying to find an out in a sense. And it's just really interesting because she tries to talk to one person that's trying to sing, and he's like, whoa, do you like girls, you like guys? And I was like, what in the world is this? And basically she's trying to get and see how deep the person is willing to go as a manipulator. And so her right hand man was like, well, what do you want me to do with her? She's like, put a pin in her, you know what I'm saying? And he's like, well, she seemed pretty cool. Like, I ain't looking for no girl, I'm looking for a weapon. And so it's interesting to see what is gonna come from that with whoever ends up winning this battle. But you'll find by the end of the episode. Another thing is you find out that Thomas and Martha Wayne, they were trying to actually create Arkham as a renewed facility. It really could help the mentally ill. Not just from what we know from the comics, like Arkham is not a good place. Like a couple times Batman gets stuck in Arkham. They treat him like he's not even like sane, and they try to like manipulate him more so. And most everybody else, it's really not a place to be at. I mean, it's very, most of the time it's always portrayed like very dark and corrupt, just like the city, you know. And I think that's not what Thomas Martha Wayne envisioned it. And Bruce, he's gone across all the notes and stuff like that. He's looking at the reports and he's like, I can't believe that what my parents built, the legacy they built, is being corrupted and being pulled apart. And I think there was a quote that towards the end of the episode that Bruce had even said to Gordon, it's like, everything that my parents worked for is literally falling into the hands of criminals. And and I think Gordon had said, no, not everything. He's like, you are still here, and he's like you're worth saving, and more than that, like if you're still here, then there is still hope, and it's worth trying. You know, it goes back to the thing from the last episode that I saw before, which I just love. It's like eye candy watching Bruce and Gordon go back and forth as far as their relationship, and even with Alfred, like you can just tell Alfred is trying his best to deal with this young boy, but this boy is dealing with so much torment and pain. Like, I mean, he's waking up from seeing like dreams of his parents getting killed on a regular basis, and I mean that in and of itself is gonna have a person like pretty messed up. It's just really interesting to watch. But yeah, I mean the killer in this one, I felt like critiquing it, like the pros and cons about the killer. Like, he was a no-name, seemed pretty cool, but I was like, the weapon just seemed really cheesy to me. I mean, it wasn't practical in my opinion. I mean, he's not a stealth kind of person. You just come up to somebody and, you know, like the shank comes out. But I mean, it's really cool as far as I guess the gore factor, but it just didn't seem practical. One of the other things, there was a gun shootout that I saw where Gordon was going to facing off against this assassin, or so-called assassin, and Gordon was trying to help somebody. I'm not going to give you specifics of it, but Gordon falls and he drops his gun, and then he runs and leaves his gun down. I was like, that doesn't make sense. You know, I mean, that one scene, I mean, I know that's a small thing, but for me that dropped the believability of something like that happening, you know. As far as like, with most of these episodes, they've kind of been in a sense believable, but for him to just drop his firearm and then run and leave it when he is military trained, I mean, he's come up against people without a gun in and of itself. I mean, when he goes back and fights again, I mean, of course he regains his firearm and stuff like that, but it just didn't seem practical, you know. I don't know who did the scripting for that. It just kind of seemed out of place for Gordon to drop his firearm. And I mean, I know that's a small nitpick thing, but I mean, I critique everything, you know. Even though it don't seem like that sometimes, I'm most of the time pretty nice, but I saw that and I was like, wow, that didn't make sense. Riddler showed back up in this episode, or Edward Nygma, talking about the crime scene, because he described the way that the entry wound from the weapon was in this one, and it was pretty interesting having him back in there. I'm waiting for them to add him more to the fix, because right now the focus is really on Penguin. I mean, like, just seeing how he's going underneath everybody's skin is just interesting, and then looking at the preview for next week, I'm like, whew, it's gonna get serious. But definitely I did like this episode. I didn't like it as much as I did the third episode, just because of certain small things here and there, but definitely, I mean, in its own right, it's really good. I'm interested to see what happens more with the whole Selena Kyle thing, because they didn't readdress that in this episode, only in small bits. Not just that, when is it that Gordon's going to reveal to Bruce that there was somebody that actually kind of technically witnessed it, and what is that going to look like when Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne actually meet and they interact? Like, how will Bruce approach her, talk to her in a certain kind of way? So I think that's going to be really interesting to see if they're even going to go with that. I mean, I think that for them to have her actually witness and see it, and them being around the same kind of age, like, it's going to be expected they're eventually going to interact in some kind of way. But yeah, it just really, this episode, I guess, showed more than anything the Penguin, or Oswald Cobblepot's ability to weasel into anything and anyone and everything's business. But the fact that he's devoted to try to help Gordon to a fault, because he knows that at the end of the day, he's got it all under control of what he has and what he's gonna attain. And I mean, like you said, like I said before in other episode review, that he feels like his destiny, Gotham is his destiny. And I mean, this dude is just cutthroat. Like, he is the worst kind of evil, but it's really good eye candy as far as TV was concerned. So I guess I'll give this episode maybe a 7 out of 10, at the most 7.5 out of 10. And yeah, definitely, I know I've been late. I'm sorry. I was supposed to watch the episode last night. I was supposed to watch it. Shoot, I watched it on Monday. I haven't done a review for it, but I wanted to rewatch it so I could have it fresh in my mind. But yeah, I definitely wanted to review it for y'all. So come tomorrow, I promise. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna record myself. If I do it alone, if I do it with other people, I'm gonna definitely record it for y'all and have it up. I said before that I voted to try to go with this whole entire season and actually have the review for y'all up. I might even actually do a specific playlist now for just my TV reviews, so y'all can kind of go straight to that corner as opposed to trying to look through all my YouTube videos. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like below. If you have any comments on the previous one I did for episode 3, or for this one, please leave your comments below. Please subscribe, I appreciate it. I'm almost to 800 subscribers, which is freaking amazing. I really appreciate y'all. I love doing this. I know there's a lot more I still got to do. I think that me and Joe, we might try to record a couple samples for the New York Comic-Con event we went to. Got all the footage, but we also need to do introduction stuff. So look for that to come up maybe, I don't know, Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, at least the finished product of it. But we're gonna have it in 3 separate parts because we're gonna do day 1, day 2, day 3. So that's gonna be really cool. But yeah, definitely go and check out the new episode of Gotham come tomorrow. If you haven't, definitely go to fox.com. I think they've got it up there. If you got Hulu Plus, definitely check that out. But yeah, everybody out there, YouTube, Movie Pilot, love y'all. Y'all have a blessed evening, blessed night, blessed day. Look for more reviews coming y'all's way. Deuces, everybody.